Greetings, history students. Welcome to a new season of AP History Help, where we're going to talk about the one thing that will set you up for success in your AP History classes: good habits. Welcome to Season 3, or the junior year of AP History Help. I am Wendy, and for those of you who have been in class with me before, you know that I am here to help you succeed in your AP History courses. For my new students, welcome. And a quick recap, we spent the first season focusing on the skills needed for your AP History courses. Last season, we alternated between APUSH and AP World units, covering both courses from August to May. I'm sure you are all wondering what this season will bring. First, we're going to cover each unit of AP European history, and we'll alternate with some in-depth topics that apply to all three courses. For example, migrations and the movements of people, or the role that women play in history. There are other changes coming too. I have a new podcast partner that I'm going to start working with in September, so you'll hear more about that on episode 3. You'll also likely hear some advertising before and after the podcast. Thanks to you guys, my audience size has reached whatever the magic number is to have those added by my podcast hosting site. Maybe I'll make enough for a cup of coffee each episode. I've also sort of rebranded insofar as my logo has changed. I wanted something that better represented the academic focus of the podcast. Let me know what you think of it. There will be some opportunities and resources that I'll roll out over the course of this season, so be listening for those. And for those of you who are saying, she sounds different, yes, I do. Hopefully that's just temporary. Fighting off a cold, but had to get this episode out to you guys. So here we go. On to this episode. Come on in, class. Let's take your seats and get started. Today, we are going to discuss best practices for taking an AP class, specifically an AP History class. Now, even if this is not your first rodeo, it's a good idea to use the beginning of the year as a chance to refresh or renew your habits. That's right. You need to have some good habits in place right up front in order to set yourself up for success. I'm going to use the acronym SNORT, SNORT, to help you remember, which is funny since I have a cold. As a matter of fact, I made up a nice little infographic for you to download as a visual reminder. You can just go to my website, aphistoryhelp.com, and when you see the pop-up, enter your email, and it will magically appear in your inbox. You just click on the image to download it. Super easy, that simple. You can do that right now to follow along, or you could do that after you're done listening to this episode. By the way, if you are totally new to an AP History course, you will definitely want to head back to Season 1 of the podcast, where I introduce what to expect and I go over all of the skills. But when you go to my website and you enter your email just above the SNORT download, you'll see 3 thumbnails, one for each of the AP History classes. Now, just last month, I put together new introduction videos for each course. They're like 15 to 20 minutes and provide a great overview. They're also posted on my YouTube channel, which you can find by searching AP History Help on YouTube. All right, here we go with the SNORT acronym. Habits for success in your AP History class. So the letter S is for seek feedback. The only way you are going to get better at the different skills is to practice. Now, your teachers should give you tests that mirror the AP exam. thus giving you practice at AP style, multiple choice questions, and free response questions. Now, when you take the tests, you get feedback in the form of grades. But you should practice more than that. And it's pretty easy to find the right answers to practice multiple choice. But what about the written responses? And when you answer those multiple choice questions wrong, it's one thing to see the right answer, but do you know why it's right or why you got it wrong? So look for that kind of feedback. But the written responses, do you have someone who knows what they're doing and who can give you constructive feedback? Maybe your teacher will agree to do that. Maybe you know someone who got a 4 or a 5 on an AP history exam that could help you. And I'm also a resource that you could use for that. So feel free to connect with me on social media or through my website. All right, the N is for note taking. Yes, you absolutely should take notes. If your teacher has a specific way that they want you to do this, definitely listen to them. If not, I would recommend a modified Cornell Notes strategy. I'm going to put a link in my show notes to some different note-taking options, but I want you to reflect on what you learned by noting the theme or themes that you learned about. And for a reflection or summary, you should be answering the essential questions or responding to the key concepts for the course, or even the objectives that the College Board puts in the course and exam description. By the way, if you don't have that, just Google your course name and course and exam description. It's out there. It's free for you to download the PDF of. It's like the Bible of the course. And if you're a teacher or a student, it's a great resource. Anyway, back to note taking. Unless you are one of those lucky and rare people who just remembers everything they read and hear, taking notes is a non-negotiable. Even if you're one of those few with an autobiographical memory, taking notes helps you to be able to make the connections across topics and time periods, especially if you color code them by theme. The O in SNORT is for organize. There are a lot of right ways to get organized, and if you are not an organized person, they are all challenging. Sorry about that. Let's start with one dedicated binder, not a folder, a binder that has a couple of pockets in it just for your AP history course. If your teacher is requiring you to do this and has guidelines, by all means, follow them. But if not, then please, if you want to be successful, I'd recommend a few dividers in that binder. Keep all of your notes together and make sure that you date and label them by unit. There should be another section for test prep, especially how to answer the different essay questions. Now, the rest is really up for you. You could include a timeline section. You could include an FRQ section. However you choose to organize is fine as long as you're organized. The R in SNORT is for review regularly. Remember those notes? You should review them regularly, not just when it's time to take a test. If you take your notes in school, review them that evening. If you write them at night, review them the next day. Learning something new? Review the old notes to make sure that you're making those connections that I mentioned before. Within a unit, you should frequently go back through your notes and challenge yourself to make connections, to find all the things that are political, all the things that are social, something that you can continue to build on. And say to yourself, okay, so this is political for this time or this place. How does it connect to other times or places that I've already learned about? And the last letter of our acronym is T, which is for time management. Most students who take AP courses are taking other advanced courses. They're involved with extracurricular activities and possibly even work a part-time job. It's a lot. I know it is. And it always seems like the tests and the papers are all due the same week as the big concert or the extra hours being added to your schedule. So I'd strongly recommend a time management course to help you successfully accomplish many things at once. I'll put a link to a self-paced course in the show notes. It's not only about time management, but task management and prioritizing things and reducing distractions. There are a lot of little things that you can do without totally changing your life to maximize your focus and ultimately your success. And yes, I do teach that course, but you don't have to take that one. There are plenty of others out there. The point being that if you don't make the effort to manage your time, you'll manage to lose your mind and your grades or activities or your job will suffer. And it doesn't have to be that way. And now a word from our sponsor. Well, for this episode, the sponsor's me, Wendy, AP History creator and tutor, among other things with AP History Help. This episode is being released on August 11th, and for the next 9 days, the ballot is still open to vote for AP History Help as the best tutor in the Tampa Bay area. The crazy thing is that if I win, I can't be at the ceremony due to a 3-day professional development that I'm attending, but it would still be cool to be honored. You don't have to live in the Tampa Bay area to vote for me. All you got to do is type in your browser bit.ly/APHHBOTB. And those are all capital letters, APHHBOTB. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's right on my screen. And I am right at the top of that list. I do actually tutor students here in Florida, as well as across the country. And the AP History Help office is located in the greater Tampa Bay area. Last, I want to talk about the AP History exam scores from this past year. And even if you're new to taking AP History, it's still kind of interesting to find out how kids have done before. Now, this past year, AP World had a 64% pass rate, APUSH had 73%, and AP Euro was 72%. I totally remember like the first year that I taught AP World, which was like 2013. The pass rate was like 47%, and APUSH wasn't much higher. So the test has changed a few times since then. But I really think that what has helped these scores catapult this year is the change in the rubric to simplify complexity on your DBQ and your LEQ. Now, if you're new to AP History, you don't know what that means probably, but don't worry, you will. But I bring it up to point out that you have a really good chance of passing the exam at the end of the year, especially if you start making a good effort now. And the kids who don't pass either don't try or they wait until the last couple months to make the effort. So make the effort starting now, and you'll be rewarded with not only a passing score, but some college credit, which is literally worth money. Next episode on August 25th, we will be covering Unit 1 of AP European History. Even if you're not taking it, consider tuning in to see what it's all about. And then on episode 3, on September 8th, we're going to focus on another acronym, SPICE. I covered this in season 1, but it's important to categorize history into those themes to help you make connections. I look forward to winning you all over to the spicy side of AP History. You have a really good chance of passing the AP History exam this year. The secret to success isn't just about what you learn, but about the habits that you build right from the start. And with that, this episode of the AP History Help podcast is now history.